Grand Rising, beautiful souls. Happy day. Hope you're all doing well. I wanted to do a video and talk about beliefs and belief systems. And much of what humanity holds as beliefs are actually not true. Now, this may be a very triggering video for some people because it's going to challenge a lot of your beliefs. But in its true essence, a belief is really just a story that we hold on to as truth. It is our truth, but it is not the truth. And from the moment that we're born, we become indoctrinated with belief systems. We're told what to believe, what to think, what is true. We're told from our families, from our religions, from our schools, from society, from our government, from basically anybody that has any level of authority over you will be telling you what you need to believe. It is really just indoctrination. Much like religion, families are indoctrinated into religions. You're born into a family that is Catholic or Buddhist or Jewish or, whatever. And you take on those beliefs that are not even your beliefs, but you are indoctrinated into those beliefs. You are told this is what the truth is, this is what we believe in, and you just live life believing that to be truth. But let's dissect that, because I think what's really, really important to understand is that we, as children of God, as an individual soul incarnated into this body, as a sovereign being, you ultimately decide what is your truth. And once again, your truth or my truth may not be the truth. There's a big difference. And I think this is where this was what inspired me to talk about it, because we see so much divide and fighting in the world. We've got people that believe in vaccines and people that don't believe in vaccines, people that believe in God and people that don't believe in God, people that believe in this and don't believe in this. We've got this polarity of beliefs. We've got one end of the spectrum and then the other end of the spectrum, which really just are opposing beliefs or stories, battling it out in the ego, trying to say mine is better, yours is better, mine is true, yours is not, right? But when you can understand that beliefs are really just an individual story. If you believe the vaccines work, that is your story. You hold on to that story as something that you feel is true for you. But what is true for you is not necessarily true for another, because the other will have a different belief or different belief system. So in a world where we've all been pitted against each other, all divinely orchestrated, I might add, every time our government puts out a story, another story, propaganda, mandates, they're creating the divide because they know that people hold on to different beliefs. But you've got these belief sectors, right? So let's take a herd, for example, a herd, okay? You've got this herd of people that are all holding on to the same belief system. And therefore, because so many people believe the same, means that they believe it's true and that anybody else outside of that herd is false. Okay, and these are the mind games that humanity has been participating in. It's a psychological game. So just because the herd believes the same thing does not mean it is the truth. It just means it's their truth, the group that holds the same belief. And now, once again, a belief is simply a story. It is a narrative, it is information that has been given to a person or a group of people as truth, but it is not the truth. It is simply just a truth that a group of people are all holding together. So now let's go to the vaccine theory. We've got a group of scientists that have been pushing vaccines as safe. We have the medical system that has been pushing vaccines as safe, right? These are groups, herd, that all hold on to and believe the same story and are pushing this story, this narrative, into a bigger group of people. And I'm going to use that bigger group of people as the collective, okay, the majority. And then you have another group of scientists and doctors and other, free thinkers who who are not part of this collective, are using a different way of seeking their information and thinking for themselves rather than thinking as a collective, okay? These free thinkers don't belong to the herd, okay? They have a different way of processing information. They have a different way of accessing information. They're relying on their intuition. They're relying on their multisensory. They're relying on their own research skills, their own discernment, and seeking that information on an individual level rather than a collective level. Okay? So those people don't fit into the herd because the herd is told what to think, is told what to believe, is told how they must do things, what they must put into their body, how they must live, follow the rules. And then these others that are kind of different don't participate in that collective truth. So this is the polarity that's been playing out on this planet, and more so these last few years in regards to the pandemic and the COVID vaccines. These COVID vaccines and this pandemic has been politicized. It is a weapon that is used by our government to control the people. They are putting their beliefs into the system, the collective, and telling the collective what is true. Now, if you hold that belief as true, it is true for you. If you believe the vaccines work, it is true for you. But forcing that belief onto somebody that is not part of the herd and making them feel like they're wrong and you're right is really just simply you telling them a story and forcing them to believe your story because that's what you believe. Everybody is entitled to believe their own stories, okay? Each person is entitled to hold on to their own story. And stories, I'm going to call them belief systems, okay? Stories or belief systems are meant to change and shift and evolve as the human soul grows and evolves. So what a person believed to be true or had a belief system at a certain point in their life may reach a different point in their life where that belief system is no longer in alignment. And this is showing the evolution of people, of growth, of maturity, of, just evolving. And that's how we were designed, okay? We are meant to grow, evolve, shift, and mature. And with that, what we held on to at a younger age or at a different time in our life when we were at a different soul level, now no longer is in alignment with where we're at in this place. And so what we do is we now learn and hold on to a new belief system. And it doesn't mean that this old one is wrong. It just means that it's no longer in alignment with where you're vibrating at this time. Okay? So all beliefs are true. They're true for the person who is holding on to them at that time. And as they grow and evolve, those truths, those beliefs begin to shift, creating new belief systems, new truths, okay? So the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because until we can recognize that all truths exist, we live in a quantum field. We are quantum beings. And in the quantum field, everything exists. All possibilities, all things, anything that you can think or imagine already exists in the quantum. And depending on where you are vibrating at is where you're going to tap into that truth or belief in the quantum. Because what you put out is what is going to come back into your specific vortex. We're always connected to the quantum field. It just is. We're connected to everything. We're energy, okay? So if you're holding on to a belief that a vaccine works, and that's the vibration that you're at, then the quantum field is going to give you more of what you're believing. It's just that law of attraction, okay? But as the soul evolves, as you grow, as you shift, as you open your awareness and you raise your consciousness, you begin to see that there are different beliefs, different truths, different potentials. And then you begin to vibrate at a different level where you start to say, I don't know if I believe vaccines work, because I've now grown and observed a lot of things these last 3 years. I'm seeing people getting sick. Maybe I've experienced side effects. I thought we were supposed to just get one. Now we're at 5. Something doesn't seem right. This is the beginning of awareness. You're opening up your awareness to other things. And now you're vibrating at a different level. And at this level, you're connecting into the quantum field, which is going to be bringing you different beliefs, different truths. And these are also correct. We need to stop this divide, this polarity of my truth and your truth. I'm right and you're wrong. We need to stop this because all truths and all beliefs are true for each individual that is at that perception or awareness of understanding it from where they're at. And so if a person is here believing the science, and there's a person here that believes in natural immunity, they're both true. They're both true. Do you see what I'm saying? This person has lived a life that's more holistic based, natural, they're healthy, they do everything possible to keep their health. That means their natural immunity is true for them, and they're living it and they're believing it, it's their truth. But this person believes in the medical science, the vaccines, they need to have these things in order to be safe, in order to be healthy. And that's their truth. So that is what they're going to believe. And that's what's going to happen for them. That is also true. So, is there any reason why we need to continue this divide, this polarity, this fighting? If all truths exist and all beliefs are truths, then why are we fighting with each other? And this is a very important question I put out there to you, because when we can understand and grasp this concept, this bigger perspective of what truth really is, then we can begin to understand that it's okay that each person has their own beliefs or their own truths or their own stories, because for each of those people, they are true for them. And it doesn't have to be true for you, it's true for them. But it doesn't mean that they're wrong, nor does it mean over here that you're right. This is how we can learn to be more understanding, more compassionate, more open-minded, more quantum-minded, allowing our consciousness to expand, to mature, to grow, and have the awareness that everybody is vibrating at a different frequency, and that everybody's truths are correct for them. So who are you to tell another person that they're wrong or right if that is their truth and you have a different truth? Because they're both right. They could also be both wrong, but they're both true for each person. So breaking it down this way, I really hope that this can help shed a little bit more insight into how we can maybe stop this divide and conquer. You see, it's all been divinely orchestrated to trick everybody into thinking, using their ego to think that they know better, that they're smarter, that their truth is the only truth. When in actuality, that is really just a form of mind control. We have been controlled by our governments to control what we think and what we feel and what we do and what we put in our bodies and how we live. Okay, this is our truth, and I'm speaking on collective level here. If you're believing your government is being truthful to you, that is your truth. But it's also true that the other person feels that it's their responsibility to take care of their own health, and that nobody needs to tell them what to do or what to put in their body or how to live. That is also true for them. Different truths for different people vibrating at different levels. It's all about consciousness, people. This is what the quantum field is. Okay? This is how we can learn to evolve. And when our governments try to control our mind, they are actually blocking us from evolving. This has been a suppression of consciousness. This entire war that we've been in, this mainstream media war, this war upon the people that we've been going through these last 3 years, has been a war of the consciousness. And when you tap in or plug into that vibration, is exactly what you're going to experience for yourself. Now, if you're okay with that, because everybody has free will, then that is what you will experience. If you're tapping into the fear of a virus, into the fear of a pandemic, into the fear of, whatever is happening in the world. That is the vibration that you're going to experience, because you're attracting that vibration into your reality. Quantum entanglement, quantum energy, it all exists in the quantum. It just depends on where you're vibrating at. But the thing is, everybody has free will. And this is the important aspect here, is that we've all been sold the idea that we don't have free will and that we need to follow orders, that we need to do what we're told because our government told us, our doctors told us, our public health officers told us. But that is really just a controlled belief system. And it's given out to the people in a way that they're bypassing your free will and telling you that this is truth and that you have to do this. They do it through fear. They do it through mainstream media. They do it through frequency to keep you stuck into that lower vibrational energy. And that is what you're going to attract back. But using free will, which is your inalienable right, is when you can say, well, I hear what you're telling me, but I'm going to choose for myself what is true. I am not going to be told by anybody or a group of people or the media or the government or the doctor or anybody what is my truth. It is my responsibility to find my truth. And so how do you do that? Well, you take your power back. This is free will, is you take your power to choose. You can choose to research. You can choose to look at different information. You can choose to entertain different perspectives, different alternative sources of media. You can choose to look at different things. And then instead of using your mind, you go down to your heart, your true guiding system, the one that God gave you, to help you discern what is your truth. Truth is felt. It is felt. It is not told, it is felt. And because we've been under a mental, psychological enslavement system, we've all been trapped in our mind, and the mind is the prison. This is where we've been trapped, is in the mind, the ego. Everything that we do is from the mind, but the mind is not being truthful because it's been programmed by these authorities, by these belief systems that have become your truth without your consent or free will. So those who have a different belief, a different truth, that are seeking alternative information, alternative, different, whatever you want to call it, critical thinkers, chose free will and are exercising their free will to decide for themselves what is true for them. So instead of fighting the ego mind versus a person choosing their own way, their own path, their own sovereignty, coming from a heart place, intuition, being guided by creator, by God, instead of this fighting between each other, is having the awareness and understanding that we all choose our experiences here. Planet Earth is a planet of free will. And we, in any given moment, have the option to exercise free will. And many have given away their power because of fear, because of being victimized, because of being mind controlled, and many are completely unaware that they've done this, that they're in this matrix. Okay, essentially they're believing something that is not even their truth. It's just been implanted into your mind, into your subconscious as truth, a program that you believe to be true. And you can choose this through free will to stay there. Or you can disconnect from that program, from that matrix, detach yourself from it and choose, rather than using your mind, to use your heart and go back into the feeling. When you feel something, that is God, that is Creator within you, guiding you to your truth. This is how humans were wired. We were given these gifts. And we, unfortunately, have become so disconnected from our Creator connection. And rather than working from that place of love and compassion and intuition, which is a disconnection from God, we've been working from a place of ego, mentality, and mind programming. So, no judgment if that's where you're at, but having the awareness that you may be in a matrix, having that awareness and understanding that you have the choice to pull yourself out of that. And that is using free will. And free will is your inalienable right to choose for yourself in any given moment what you think, how you feel, what you do, where you go, what you put into your body. Only you can choose what happens to you. Nobody should be able to do that for you unless you allow them to. And sadly, much of humanity has fallen victim to this mind control, this mind matrix that we've been in, this third dimensional reality that we're living on planet Earth. Understanding that we live in a multi-dimensional universe and that we are multi-dimensional beings connected to all dimensions at all times. It's the quantum field. And choosing to stay at a 3D vibrational frequency is okay. And it could be your soul contract. It could just be what you need to experience in this life. But know that there are so many other options you could choose. You could choose to pop out of that 3D and go into 4D and to 5D and to 6D, all the way up to there's infinite dimensions. And every one of those dimensions are true. They're just at a different level of consciousness. So you can have two people in the same room, one being completely in a state of fear and negativity, and the other one being in a place of love and compassion. Both are in their truth, but they're both vibrating at different frequencies. One is vibrating in the lower dimensional 3D, and the other is vibrating in the possibly higher fourth dimension or fifth dimension even. And so both of these are true. Both of these are individual beliefs and truths that they're both experiencing in this now moment. And we can change these vibrations through free will at any time. Some people cannot maintain that high state of vibration and will come back down to 3D, but we'll go back up and we'll go back down. It's doable because you are always choosing in any moment what you want to experience. And you choose that through your free will and understanding that you need to take that power back to yourself in order to make these different choices. Having somebody dictate to you what you have to do is not utilizing free will. You have given away your free will to an authority to control you. But you have the choice and the free will to break yourself free from that mind programming matrix. And it starts with recognizing that you always have free will and free choice. And the more that you choose from this place of free will, free choice, the more that you break yourself free from the shackles of the matrix. You begin to see things differently. You begin to have different options. You begin to see different possibilities, different opportunities. You begin to have a different awareness, a bigger perspective. You begin to see that there is so much more than we even know. Because when you open up that possibility, you begin to receive back from the quantum more and more of these possibilities. And I hope this makes sense. So we've often also heard about you create your own reality. This is very similar. It's the law of attraction, right? If you're always putting out negativity and fear and you're always in a state of like fight or flight, that is the reality that you're creating for yourself. And the universe is going to continue to bring more and more and more of that. But if you choose to be in a state of gratitude, of love, of compassion, of good deeds, of understanding, of respect, you are going to receive that back. And therefore, what you put out is what you receive. And what you receive is what you are experiencing in this reality. So what you think and what you feel is what you experience. So back to the beliefs, belief systems. Nobody knows the absolute truth of this infinite universe, infinite place of creation that we all exist in, because there are infinite truths, there are infinite universes, there are infinite galaxies, there are infinite stars, there are infinite dimensions. So limiting yourself on one belief is basically preventing yourself from growing, evolving, and understanding that there is so much more than meets the eye. And much of humanity has been under this mind control program. It happens from the day you're born. Because everything that has been placed within your subconscious, within your mind, has been programmed, has been indoctrination. You are told by your parents who you are, what you believe, what you do, what you need to do. You are told by your teachers what to do. You know, how this is the truth. This is education. This is history. You're told by your governments, this is the law. This is what you have to do. Like there's always someone or something telling you what to think and what to believe. And the indoctrination is simply you allowing that to become your truth without using your free will to choose for yourself. And those who have exercised their free will and choose different beliefs, different ideologies, different philosophies, different ideas, are more open-minded, are free thinkers, are critical thinkers, those people, unfortunately, have been mistreated, have been attacked, have been bullied. It happens at a young age when a child thinks differently or a child acts differently or a child is different. They become ostracized. They get bullied on the playground because they're different. But different just means that you're not part of the mind program. And so anything that is outside of that program creates a lot of fear for those that are in the program. When you're in a mind control program, anything outside of that will create fear because it challenges you, it challenges your belief. And because you've been in a mind program, your ego is controlling you. And the ego will come up and get very triggered by someone who has a different idea or a different belief. And this is what we've been witnessing, especially these last few years. I mean, I've been very, very vocal and exercising my free will and free choice and freedom of speech to express what I believe in. And I have shared that publicly. And unfortunately, it has triggered many, many people because I think differently than the group. But what it is I've extracted myself from the matrix. I have a different view, a different perspective. I'm outside of the so-called box, right? There's in the box and then there's out of the box. And because I challenged the ego of the box, the people that are in the box, it creates a very uncomfortable feeling because they don't understand what they're feeling because their ego is in control. But what they're essentially feeling is they're feeling threatened because if their beliefs were actually not true, what would that mean? What would it mean? And it leaves a lot of people feeling anxious or afraid. And this creates what's called a cognitive dissonance, is that when the ego is so in charge that it disconnects you from your heart. There's a disconnection, the dissonance. And instead of feeling and allowing your heart to guide you to what's true, you're allowing the ego, the mind, and there's this dissonance, this disconnect, which essentially is like a malfunction of the program, and it creates people to get upset or angry, or they project or they lash out, or they create all of this animosity that's been going on. So this is by no means any form of judgment to anyone. I'm simply trying to explain why we're in this predicament, how we got into this predicament, and what we can do to change it if you so choose to, because everybody has free will. Now, these entities, these governments, these systems, these corporations have known that controlling human minds is is the easiest way to take people's power away. It's really quite simple. It's psychological. If you bully people, if you scare people, people are going to give away their power because they're afraid. They're afraid. They're like, "Oh, okay. We'll do what you say, blah blah blah. If it means that I can go travel, if it means that I can go to a restaurant, if it means that I can go, to work, that I will do whatever you tell me." This is what I'm talking about. Because you're giving away your power to an entity who is putting fear into you and essentially blackmailing you through your mind, through your ego, to do these things. And then they invert it and gaslight you, and they say, well, if you do this, you can be free. If you take these vaccines, you can travel. If you take these vaccines, you can go to a restaurant. So essentially, you're being blackmailed because you have to give something in order to receive it. And that is not true freedom. And a lot of people have been unaware that their freedoms have been taken away because they're acting from their mental mind program. But see, the true freedom is when you break yourself out of this mind program. When you break yourself out of it, you use your free will and you use your own choice, free will, free choice, to choose for yourself what you feel is in your best interest, what you feel is your truth. And you begin to live your life on your terms. You create your own truths and your own belief systems. You become sovereign. You become free. You are no longer controlled by authorities or people that call themselves authorities. You can begin to choose for yourself what is for your health, what is for your highest good. And you become very powerful when you take back that power. And that's what's called standing in your truth. You stand in your truth. You stand in your inner knowing. You stand in your power, knowing who you are, knowing that you've always had that power. And when you break free from the matrix, it becomes easier to see how everybody else has been enslaved. Now, religion is also very similar because once again, religion it's a man-made construct created by man, by a group of people that have taken parts of what may have been truth and inverted it and twisted it and manipulated it into an indoctrinated system where they tell you what you need to do, how you need to act, what you need to believe. And there's a whole list of rules that you need to follow in order to be accepted into this faith. But that is once again a mind program matrix. You're being told by people. Now, creator, source, God, does not force anybody to do things. Creator, source, God is everything. And it is also us because we are connected to everything. So we are creator, God, source. And when you understand that you have the power within yourself to create your own reality, you don't need anything outside of you to tell you or to help you, because you already have that power within yourself. And this is what they feared, that one day humanity would get to a place where they would remember who they were. And if everybody remembered who they were, then they would not need authority figures telling them what to do. And this scares the authority figures, because the authority figures, the systems, have been in control for thousands and thousands of years and have been enjoying it thoroughly. And they are so afraid for the day that's going to come when they are no longer allowed to be in power. And we're in that revelation right now. We're witnessing this right now, this great awakening. More and more people are starting to pop themselves out of that mind control matrix. They're starting to claim back their power. They're starting to use their free will and free choice. They're beginning to say, wait a second, I don't want to be dictated to anymore. I want to choose. I decide. It's my body, my choice. I decide what I put into my body. Nobody can force me or tell me to do that, to put what I don't want to put into my body. And this is what this great awakening is all about. It is the awakening, the remembering that we are way more powerful than we know. It's just that we forgot and we became disconnected from God's source because we got stuck into this mind program matrix. This is the prison, the enslavement. This is the belief system that the majority of humanity have been stuck in. And yet, there's so many more beliefs and truths out there. It's just that they don't want you to have that power or that ability. And so they have been manipulating humanity into staying stuck into that mind programming. And this is why they use the mainstream media to push out fear and propaganda. So when you can understand that this again is a war on your consciousness, on your mind, it's a psychological warfare. You can understand why majority of humanity have willingly participated in it and have willingly given away their power, ultimately enslaving themselves. This has been the biggest deception of all time. And when you go through your awakening, your realization, your aha moments, when you begin to start trusting your intuition again, feeling those feelings rather than thinking those feelings, you begin to feel your soul is always trying to guide you to your highest good. And yet we've been so programmed to use our mind ego that we have been disconnected. So coming back to that space, that trust, that intuition, that divine God source within us, the more that we listen to that, the more that we allow that to guide us. And through free will, free choice, we begin to ask questions. We begin to feel things kind of feel off. Something's not right. We begin to do our own research. We begin to make our own choices and decisions. And as you begin that journey, that is when you pull yourself out of the mind matrix. You free yourself from the prison of your mind. It's always been about the mind. The mind is the most easy, it's the easiest part of the human to be manipulated, because the mind is really just, it's the ego that's running the mind. And most of what we're told or what we believe is not the truth. It's just your truth that you believe to be truth because it's what you've been programmed with. So take this information and do what you wish. But I really, really highly encourage you to just really sit with it for a minute and try to understand the deeper meaning and the bigger picture to what I'm speaking about. Because it truly is amazing when you free yourself from the matrix. You become free, you become peaceful, you become the calm in the storm. You start to recognize that everything around you is really just an illusion. They're just stories. And they don't have to be your stories. You can create your own story. You can create your own reality by tapping into a different dimension, a different higher aspect of yourself, a different consciousness, because all truths exist, all dimensions exist, all realities exist. It's just up to you which reality you wish to live. You create your own reality. So thank you so much for listening. And as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this topic. I'm passionate about consciousness. I'm passionate about quantum mechanics. I'm passionate about, the whole spiritual aspect of the world that we live in, because we are spiritual beings. We are all spiritual beings. And religions, again, have been part of this mind programming. When you start to learn about that and understand that all religions are corrupted, have been manipulated, and have been used as a form of mind programming, of indoctrination. This is a very difficult thing for many people, because the people that are very deeply rooted in religions, it's a difficult thing to understand that you've been following a faith that has ultimately simply just controlled your mind. It's a difficult thing for many people to come to understand, and it's going to be a process for many people. And again, through free will and free choice, it is up to everyone to choose for themselves what they wish to believe. And it doesn't mean that you're right and I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that you're wrong and I'm right. It just means that we're all at different levels, and to have respect for each other, regardless whether our belief systems are the same or different. It doesn't matter. It just is, because we're all connected and we're part of this giant, infinite quantum field. And everything in this quantum field exists. And it's all true depending on your belief. And a belief is a belief system that may be true for you, but it doesn't mean that it's the truth. Because the only person that knows the truth is a creator God. And because we are a part of Creator God, we have to do the journey to find the truth. And the truth is an inner journey. Nobody outside of you can tell you what's true, not even me. It is an inner journey that must be realized. And only then can you begin the path to truth. I send you many blessings. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you very soon on the next video.